Dear students, I am Mukesh Kumar Meena, Assistant Professor in English, SPNK's Government PG College Dosa. Today we are going to discuss Emily Dickinson as a nature poet. We know that she was a famous American poetess and she wrote beautiful short lyrics on nature. So she is regarded as a great nature poet. Many of Dickinson's conventional nature poems praise nature as the gentlest mother who soothes and comforts her bruised children. In these poems, she delights in nature's external pageantry and expresses a sentimental enthusiasm about the red breast of the robin and the butterfly's beautiful colors. But her later poems show the distrust of such analogies and depict an ironic contrast between nature's ordered majesty with man's doomed mortality. In these poems, nature mocks man rather than comforts him. Some of her poems emphasize nature's decaying and corruptive power. Death lies at the core of nature, continually threatening man with extinction. Many poems like The Morning After War and I Dreaded That First Robin so analyze nature's betrayal of those hearts that love her best. In a poem about the frosts killing a flower, apparently with no surprise, she even questions if nature has any meaning at all, because a universe that proceeds indifferently and is untouched by such crimes haunts one with terror. The destructive power of nature's winds, rains, and lightning storms also impressed Miss Dickinson, but her chief response to nature was a fascination with its continual change. The daily passage of the sun, the sudden alterations wrought by storms, the miracle of spring growth, and the deceptive appearance of Indian summer. The unusual and the odd aspects of nature attracted her, and she transmutes unpoetic subjects like crickets, flies, weeds, and rats into art. She qualifies her genuine enthusiasm for the beauty of external nature with an awareness of its innate mystery and strangeness. Never certain of any clear correspondence among God, nature, and man, she remained a skeptic who both admired and doubted. Miss Dickinson refuses to employ nature as a guide for moral behavior. She shows too an unusual skill in presenting sensuous impressions. Her poems on birds, flowers, insects, and natural processes rarely become didactic or insist upon divine analogues. The drama of sunset particularly attracted her. One poem, I Will Tell You How the Sun Rose, uses a series of action verbs and domestic images to convey the quick surprise and changing colors of the dawn. A better poem on the same subject opens with an arresting conceit, blazing in gold and quenching in purple, leaping like leopards to the sky. The dramatic occurrences of summer rains and lightning storms impressed her equally. The unleashed power of these storms, with their complete dominion over man's world, gave her a sense of circumference and religious fear which deepened their picturesque effect. The wind began to knead the grass, employs touches of local color which together with a fantastic array of action verbs exhibit the mysterious chaos of a sudden summer downpour. A later storm poem, There Came a Wind Like a Beagle, enlarges the feeling of reverence and surprise that any life can survive such onslaughts. Miss Dickinson loved flowers and had a greater knowledge of them than of any other item in nature. Though her poems on the rose, the buttercup, and the daisy are generally conventional and sentimental, only a poem on the arbutus has the freshness and precise detail that distinguish her best work. Pink, small and punctual, aromatic, low, covert in April, candid in May. These clipped humorous adjectives focus our attention on the furtive beauty of this early spring arrival. Some of Miss Dickinson's best nature poems pertain to bees, birds, and insects. She was particularly fond of bees and delighted in caricaturing their incessant activity. A light poem, A Bee His Burnished Carriage, describes the honey gathering process as the frank seduction of a quivering rose. Two of her descriptions of birds dazzle the reader with their exuberant images and extravagant conceits. These descriptions pertain to the oriole in the poem, one of the ones that Midas touched, and the blue jay in the poem No Brigadier throughout the year. However, her most famous nature portrait is that of the hummingbird in the poem, A Root of Evanescence, which, besides registering a vivid poetic response to nature, also conveys Miss Dickinson's sense of the mystery and illusiousness of nature. In her best nature poems, Miss Dickinson skillfully deepens her concrete detail and sensuous surface imagery by contrasting the world of man with that of nature. For example, the poem A Bird Came Down the Walk can be read literally as an exact description of the quick, furtive movements of a bird as it eats, hops about, and then flies gracefully away. By the final stanza, the tone develops into one of awe and aesthetic response to the bird's beautiful flight. Yet various undercurrents of fear demand that we read deeper into the poem. For the bird's initial casualness changes into hesitancy and suspicion. Man's spying and his useless offer of a crumb lead to the bird's final rejection and illuminate another theme: nature is superior, self sufficiency over man's fumbling awkwardness. So it is enough now, and in another video, we will discuss some other aspects of her nature poetry. Thanks for listening.